2023 is officially over as we enter into the new year. It's time to look back at last year as we rank the 5 best and worst. Let's do it. Hey friends, welcome to the Disney Pastor. I'm your host Tim and I talk all things Disney. Let me know your best or worst of 2023 down in the comments below. By the way, Happy New Year. Hope 2024 is a great year for all of you. There's a lot to look forward to this year, but let's reflect back on last year. I'm going to go from worst, best. Let's go ahead and dive right in.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Kicking things off with one of the worst things from last year, and it was just the box office. I mean, to be fair, there was a lot that happened. The box office did not seem to go over well pretty much for anybody in 2023. Disney did not do well at all. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 did well in theaters, but The Little Mermaid didn't do as great. Elemental bounced back, which is great. Wish is not looking as good as it needs to be. On top of that, there are a bunch of other movies that failed in the box office. Indiana Jones bombed big time. Same with, of course, The Haunted Mansion and a few other projects that Disney had released. It was just not a good year for Disney at the box office at all. We have a couple movies in 2024 that may help it a little bit. The Deadpool movie and Inside Out 2 being two of those that could potentially do better. But for now, this past year, 2023, was not a good year at the box office.
I see this as an absolute win.
However, switching gears to something good that happened was the international parks. Now, the parks are not going to change. They're Disney's biggest moneymaker and biggest revenue piece of the company. That's not going to change. But what I love seeing is in 2023, we got Zootopia Land over at Shanghai Disneyland, which looks incredible. Seriously, they did a fantastic job. As well as the World of Frozen over at Hong Kong Disneyland. Both of these look absolutely stunning. They have some pretty cool attractions. Hong Kong actually got a revamped version of Frozen Ever After, which looks great. And it just looks, both of those look fantastic. And really shows the care that they took. And sure, Disneyland got San Francisco Square, which looks pretty good, and Walt Disney World got Tron, and that's pretty much been it, along with Journey of Water, and of course the center of Epcot's now opened. These two lands at the international parks look fantastic, and the future is high going into 2024, going into this year, as we see lands like Fantasy Springs open up. We're going to see some more developments on the Walt Disney Studios park, which of course is over at Disneyland Paris. Great stuff is happening over on the international front for the parks, and that's great to see.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Back downhill a little bit with a little bit of tea, and this is where I'm going with this next one, and that is there is still too much drama with Disney. Granted, some of it was out of their control and for good reason because the writers and actors strikes happened. Both of those needed to happen. Both of them got their deals done. Great, fantastic, love to see it. But some things were Disney's control. Granted, you have still the Florida versus Disney stuff going on between the governor and Florida, and things do not seem to be going anywhere in terms of that. You had a proxy battle and a threat of another one happening at the same time. You also have Elon attacking Bob Iger, and it just seems like there's this constant domino of drama that kept happening, and it's not good at all for anybody. No one likes drama except for news people, and so great for them, bad for us. Really would love to see some less drama going into 2024.
I see this as an absolute win.
On the good side, though, other than Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania and maybe a few other things, Marvel honestly had a pretty solid year. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is easily Disney's best movie of the year, and it was a great way to end the trilogy. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was done very, very well. Of course, on top of that, Spider-Man also had a really great year as well. Granted, they weren't Disney specific because it was Sony with Across the Spider-Verse and Sony again with Spider-Man 2. but the character overall had a really great year. Both the movie Across the Spider-Verse, which is easily my favorite movie of the year, and Spider-Man 2, which is a really great game, and I've not played like games in forever, and playing it this year was awesome. Marvel had a great year. Some flops, some flaws, like Quantumania, like the Marvels, but they did also have some really solid moments, like Loki, like Guardians Volume 3, etc. So I'd say the highs are much better than the lows, and even looking into this year, as they kind of slowed down a little bit, which I am excited that they are slowing down. That needs to happen. There's been a lot happening. There's some things I'm looking forward to. Obviously, Deadpool 3 is the only Marvel movie to be released next year, so we'll see how that goes. But until that point, I'm okay with us taking a chill pill for a little bit. Either way, Marvel, solid year.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Speaking of way too much, that's another thing that was kind of negative this year, is there was too much content, I think. Now, granted, this is not just a Disney problem. This is everybody trying to ramp up their streaming services to make sure that they have the most content to offer every audience. I mean, I think I saw an Apple TV ad that was like, new content every week. That's a little too much. And a lot of it, unfortunately, on Disney's side, while they did have a few good things, I mean, I enjoyed Ahsoka. I thought Loki was great. I'm enjoying Percy Jackson so far. What If I still haven't seen yet because it came into the fold of like the Christmas season, and like I have not sat down to watch any of the new season of that yet. And so that goes to show, like, I enjoyed What If the first season. I thought it was pretty good. And I was looking forward to this new season, but because of so much stuff going on, just because of the fact of the season we just got out of with the holidays and whatnot, but at the same time, there's just been so much that I'm like, I need to take kind of a pause and a little bit of a break on watching 50 billion different things. That being said, though, Iger has stated that they are going to start winding down on, like, how much stuff they do and being more specific. Great, because ultimately what's going to make Disney Plus better, what's going to make any streaming service better, is quality over quantity. When you take a look at the shows that have done very, very well, it's been about quality, not quantity. Example for Disney Plus, Mandalorian, right? Mandalorian Season 1, fantastic. Season 2, also as good. Season 3, not so much. Keeping content at a quality standard is going to be what Disney needs going forward to make, one, their shows better, but also to make Disney Plus a much stronger platform.
I see this as an absolute win.
One thing that was surprising with this past year, other than the box office, was Elemental's switchback, right? They went from a probable failure at the box office to turning a profit, and it became one of Disney's successful movies for the year. And I enjoyed Elemental. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't like mind-blowing or the best Pixar film I've ever seen, but it was enjoyable. It had a lot of heart and a lot of good moments in it, and it just brought back, I think, Pixar as a whole.
Just keep swimming.
Pixar has had this slump the past couple years. Lightyear didn't do very well. Turning Red has like mixed reviews, depending on who you asked. Either they loved it or they didn't. Luca was okay, and Soul was pretty good, but like all those were released on Disney Plus, so they weren't able to make up their revenue, and it just like constant domino effect the past couple years. And so this gives me hope for Pixar to return to where they were, but it looks like, and I think, that they will be back better than ever going into this year. At least I'm hoping so. Inside Out 2 looks really good. Granted, we've not seen a ton, but I think the premise is going to be interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure. I'm hoping that this will start a new kind of Pixar renaissance for them. Because, man, I love me some Pixar movies. So here's to hoping.
I have a bad feeling about this.
One thing Disney has been doing the past several years is live-action remakes, and they released 2 this year, one on Disney Plus, Peter Pan and Wendy, and one in theaters, The Little Mermaid. Now, Little Mermaid was okay, and Peter Pan was okay as well, but looking at the future of the live action remake genre. It seems like 2019 was the peak because you had Lion King, you had Aladdin, and both did very well because both of them are some of the best Disney animated movies of all time. And so that kind of helped with that. And the problem was and is that the rest of them aren't as good. Even The Lion King, I'm not a big fan of The Lion King remake, and Aladdin is okay, but this needs to stop. Looking at the box office for Little Mermaid, looking at just reviews for both that and Peter Pan this year, on top of that, all the backlash Snow White is receiving because of your actress saying things that aren't the wisest when it comes to this specific story because it is so timeless. And there's a lot going wrong before it's going right. And so, is it time to end him? I think so. I think it's time to end the live action remakes for good, forever. So long, sayonara, goodbye. But until that happens, Disney's probably still going to make these. I mean, we know Moana's coming at some point. We know Lilo and Stitch is coming at some point. I don't know how that's going to work. And a few others as well. I think it's just time to sit back, take a breather. I am cautiously optimistic with Mufasa because it is a live action movie. However, it is a prequel. So that part I'm intrigued on. Don't get me wrong. I think Disney can do very well in doing live action movies. They've proved that in the past, but I don't know if this is still the best direction, and I'm hoping that this will be reevaluated, especially with all the crap that's gone on with this year with remakes.
I see this as an absolute win.
Although flipping it to the positive side, one of the best announcements that happened at D23 back in 2022 was the return of Happily Ever After, and it's back. I got a chance to see it while I was down at Walt Disney World towards the end of November. And man, I love the show. I'm so thankful it's back. I think it needs and will have a pretty long run, and it deserves it. It's a really solid, really great show that's full of heart and magic, and it's very, very good. So I'm happy it's back.
I have a bad feeling about this.
And speaking of the parks, to wrap up our top 5 worst, is this trend that I've been seeing from Disney, which is like all talk, no action, all bark, no bite. And we hear a lot of things of like, oh, we're looking forward to the future. We're looking forward to all exciting things coming to the parks and projects and all this other stuff, but there's no like tangibleness behind it. When we look at 2024, right? When we look at this year, the only like big thing that's happening is Tiano's Bayou Adventure. Other than that, I mean, there's the Country Bear revamp, which, don't get me wrong, I think it needs it. Don't know how I feel about Disney songs yet. So you have that at Walt Disney World. You don't really have anything at Disneyland at all. I mean, you have the Disney Treasure, which I'm excited about. It looks to be a beautiful ship, but for the parks, it's, at least America-wise, there's a lot of talk, not a lot of action. And especially when you have stuff like the Blue Sky ideas. I mean, they talked about how they are going to change Dinoland USA to a South American theme. That is happening, but we don't know what's in it. And they threw out Encanto and Indiana Jones. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen because they haven't given us anything to work with. And that leaves me guessing. I'm hoping D23 later on this year in August is going to really shine some light onto what the heck is going on and really give us some concrete information, because I'm all for exciting changes. I'm all for like doing new and exciting things, but I need some substance.
I see this as an absolute win.
But in my opinion, the best thing that happened this year is actually on the ESPN front. Yes, Disney owns ESPN. If you didn't know that, you know now. The best change this year was Disney is kind of figuring out ESPN right now, which is fine. It needs it because it hasn't been the best in terms of sports. And they got like thrown off with a lot of different stuff. That being said, though, They made a move this year to bring the Pat McAfee show onto ESPN.
Hey, what? Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful.
What a move by Disney. I enjoy the show. I enjoy Pat McAfee. I think he knows how to engage an audience, especially people my age and younger. At the same time, I think the show's just fun. It talks football. I enjoy football. It talks a lot of different things. But that being said, I think it just brings a new energy and life to ESPN. It's been great to see, and I'm excited for how this is going to continue to unfold because, man, it was a fantastic move.
Ooh, that's good.
Anyways, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this year. Happy New Year. Here's to 2024. I'm excited for all this year is going to bring. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you enjoyed this one, though, please give it a big thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Helps me know what you like, what you don't like. And if you're new around here, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Be sure to subscribe down below and hit the bell to be notified for more videos just like this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy New Year. Here's to the start of the year. Goodbye.